Hi everyone, it's me, Dr. Whimsy with Broke Aristocrats, and today I wanted to have a conversation about how I am a little different than Dave Ramsey when it comes to the baby steps. I've talked a little bit about some of the ways I don't agree with Dave Ramsey in the past. There are some things I agree with and some things I don't agree with, and today I just want to talk a little bit about the baby steps and why they didn't work for me. When I first started on my debt-free journey, it was at a time when a lot of my life was really up in the air, and I was starting a small business. I didn't really have a lot of money. I didn't want to go further into debt, but basically I had amassed quite a bit of credit card debt, and I had quite a bit of student loan debt as well. Most doctors, when they graduate from medical school, will have anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 in student loan debt. It's actually a serious problem. So I was starting a business. I had massive student loan debt. My marriage had ended. I was over 50 years old. The situation was not good. And so Dave Ramsey helped me a lot in terms of getting organized. I read a lot of financial advisors, listened to a lot of Dave Ramsey, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I kind of created a system for paying off my debts that worked for me. And I think this goes back to what Dave Ramsey had said recently about encouraging people to really think for themselves. No one is going to know your financial situation better than you. And so I encourage people, listen to everybody, get everybody's opinion, and then in the end, you have to make decisions based on what's right for you. I started with an emergency fund, baby step one, of $1,000 before I began paying off my credit card debt, which I decided to tackle first. And that was good, but I decided to continue to put money aside and build my emergency fund, which is baby step 3, while I was doing baby step 2, paying off debt. And the reason that worked for me is because, again, I was a single woman living in Los Angeles without a family, and I knew from my personal experience that $1,000 was not going to cut it in the event of an emergency. I am still building that emergency fund 2 years later. I'm still putting money aside every month and really squirreling away as much as I can. So that is something that I did differently than Dave Ramsey. I didn't do one step at a time. I did steps 1, 2, and 3 at the same time. And that was pretty easy to do because it's automated. Part of it was automated and part of it was not automated. I mean, I would get money for the week, and I would look at how much income was coming in because it was always changing, and there was a certain percentage of that. I would look at my 4 walls, what my budget was for the month, and then I would skim some of that off the top and put it into savings and emergency fund. And then the other thing that I did differently than Dave Ramsey, because I was older, was that I automated that a certain percentage of my money every month, I just put it in my budget, was going to go to my retirement fund. The other way that I broke away from Dave Ramsey was that I really focus now on increasing income and optimizing my business so that ultimately the main income source isn't mutual funds and putting money in the market, which can be very unstable. I should probably talk about that in a video in the future. I have mutual funds. I have a Roth IRA. I started that right away. I didn't wait. It was automated. Everything was automated. It was put into the budget. But for me, rather than just focusing on frugal living, I focused on how do I optimize my business? How do I get my business to be making more money? Every day, every day, every day, I work at the business. Every day, I think about how my business can be better. I also was taking a portion of the money and reinvesting it in the business. This is something that Dave Ramsey talks about, but I don't think it can be stressed enough. If all your leftover money is going towards debt with none left over to optimize your business, then you're not going to get ahead and break the cycle of poverty. The way to break the cycle of poverty is to continually develop your skills and develop your business so that you become the best at what you do. The money will follow, and that means that you'll be paying off your debts a lot faster. In terms of all of my debts, the one debt that I did not pay off was my student loan debt, which was over $200,000 worth of loans that I had taken out from the government. They were not private loans, and instead I went on what was called Repay, which is a 25-year forgiveness program. 10% of my income every month is taken and placed towards that debt. After 25 years, the debt is forgiven, and then the student has to pay the taxes on the debt, so that the total going back to the government is the original debt you took out plus any additional interest that might have incurred, and basically what I took out is not going to be what I put back in. What I put back in will probably be a bit more, and I'm okay with that because there's interest, there's the natural inflation that happens over time. But for me, it was a win-win situation because I was able to not pour all my money into debt reduction and then wind up impoverished late in life. It would not have worked for me to have put all my money towards debt relief at 50, which is when I started the Dave Ramsey program. What worked out better for me was I could survive with 10% of my income going towards paying off my student loans, and there would still be money left over to pay off my credit cards, put money aside to my Roth IRA, and optimize my business if I lived frugally. And so that is what I chose to do. It's different than Dave Ramsey. I didn't have a home, I didn't have children. Those steps didn't apply to me as a single woman. I did diversify my portfolio by putting it into various different mutual funds, the way that Dave Ramsey suggests. But again, I didn't wait. It was automated. It came straight out of my checking account into an E-Trade account, and then I selected my index funds based on my own research, and I was able to keep the cost down that way in terms of buying. I didn't have anybody manage those funds for me. I did my own research and bought my own index funds. All right, so I just wanted to have this conversation briefly about how I did things differently than Dave Ramsey, and how I do agree with Dave Ramsey that you really have to think for yourself if your situation is unique. The baby steps just didn't work for me, and I know he says just do one at a time, and that's fine. If that works for you, that's great. I had no problem doing multiple things at once because, as I said before, I had things automated. It was worked within the budget, and I was able to pay off all the credit card debt. I think it was 6 months ago. I put it on YouTube, and now I'm just optimizing my business and pouring as much time and energy as I can into my business so that I can live the good life and pay off the student loans. So thanks for watching. Be sure and share, like, subscribe, and tell me what you are doing to take care of yourself and live below your means without breaking the bank. And I'd be curious to know if you are following the Dave Ramsey program, how you were able to tweak it a little bit based on your needs. All right, take care. Bye-bye.